If your song doesn't make me want to drive fast, I don't want to hear it.
Hello.
A quotes.
Hello.
A quotes if there ever was one. I would like to welcome everyone to the 42nd episode of Money Trees. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Terrific even. Today's guest is one of the most decorated minds in music and Web3. An insanely talented host, creative, and executive. They are building the first Black-owned co-creator space powered by NFTs. Goldie Harris is here. How are you feeling today, Goldie?
I'm feeling good. Let me be honest. I'm feeling great that I'm here. I'm a little under the weather, but regardless, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Khufu, for real.
Yo, thank you for pulling up. I do have to start off with this. My artist, Fernando, had some computer issues, and so he was unable to finish your custom note. However, it is going to be fire, and we will have that for you shortly. I apologize for us not having that up ahead of this episode, but I didn't want to delay this conversation. Plus, you are killing it right now. I know you had a talk yesterday. Y'all got Web3 Wednesday tomorrow. And I was really excited off of reading about 24 hours. And so, yeah, I kind of couldn't wait. But yeah, thank you for coming.
Nah, all good. We here. What better time than now?
Right? Exactly. You do so much in the space. I'm excited to chop with you. And I would love to go through all of the amazing work you've done. But the show is only 30 minutes. So I'm going to ask you a couple of opening questions just about yourself. And then I want to dive in because you have some really, really ill projects in the works.
Where do we start?
What made you start paying attention to Web3?
So, April of last year, I was helping to produce some content for United Masters. We had this virtual conference called SelectCon, which started during the pandemic, brought in over 1 million viewers on Twitch. And at the time at United Masters, I was managing the brand voice, working across the enterprise and really creating content for all of our socials. And, at United Masters, we're, a company that's focused on giving creators the tools and resources they need to take control of their careers. So the number one thing is education. So I launched this series on social called The Industry Defined, pretty much breaking down like little terms that people tend to look over, but are really important that like terms like perpetuity. Like if you see that in your contract, you feel me? Make sure you speak to your lawyer about it kind of thing. So the Industry Defined was this content piece I started on social, and the team really loved it. They're like, hey, how can we take this from social to SelectCon? So I took a few industry terms, some buzzing terms at the time. NFTs were like, a really buzzy term. And I invited some tastemakers and industry professionals to speak a little bit about it. At the time, all I knew is an NFT is a non-fungible token, but I'm going to figure out what it is so I can kind of create this segment for SelectCon. So I linked up with Cooper Turley to create this, and he was just like going off about, like social tokens and governance and audience and all this cool shit. And I'm just like, wait a second. I got a lot on my plate. This sounds cool. Let me circle back to this type shit. So then ever since then, I was kind of like heads down, like learning about the space because for one, like I'm just a curious person. I also consider myself an early adapter. So like when something's new, like I want to know about it, especially like in the tech space. And at first I really didn't understand it. So then I just kind of like spent the year just studying it silently.
Yo, I love that, especially in regards to and the fact that SelectCon was fire. I remember watching some of the, I guess we'll say panels. I don't want to use the incorrect term there, but giving artists the control and helping artists understand their business and have the tools to really, really build their careers. Yes, if you see perpetuity or the universe, make sure you look for those two words and clarify exactly what the hell is going on there in your contract. But no, I love that. I think that that's your entry point to the space was one that connects to, where your current passion is just with music and then with empowering artists and a lot of the blockchain technology that I'm excited about does that as well. Or well, it provides I'm wording that poorly. It provides that same level of, is the word governance, ownership. I'm still playing around with how we want to say that in a way that artists can get it, but taking
I feel
control of
you.
your shit, however you want to frame it. So thinking about NFTs, thinking about also you talked, with the pandemic and the conference happening. Are you more excited about metaverse experiences or NFTs?
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about which one I'm more excited about. When I think of like the metaverse, when I think of the metaverse, I'm like, a lot of people kind of like don't understand. A lot of people don't want it to go in that direction because a lot of people are like, hey, like I like the IRL stuff. Like we need to be in person. Like we just can't do everything like, over the internet kind of thing. But until like everyone has like an Oculus in their crib, you know what I mean? Until Apple drops those glasses, um, it's really not going to be like a situation where like I can tell like all my homies, oh yo, let's meet in the metaverse. You know what I mean? So in the future, I'm excited for it, but right now, I guess I would say I'm more excited about like NFTs, especially in the music space.
Yeah, I'm with you for those exact reasons. I just don't think it's as accessible. And we know that NFTs aren't necessarily super accessible either, but it's way easier to get into that than, like you said, having an Oculus or, your own AR VR setup. I wanted to know just kind of where your head was at there, because another one of the elements just of the space is community. We talked about like the governance side, ownership, getting control of your rights, but thinking about community. You did a TEDx talk on the power of community and entrepreneurship. So first, shout out to you because the talk was fire. Like
Thank you.
that was gas, and it really made sense to me watching and listening through on that, where 24 hours fits into like your overall world building and like your narrative. So, can you give us a rundown on 24 hours shortly? Because we're going to spend a bunch of time on it, but just like the quick overview of it in your own words.
Yeah, totally. So 24 Hours really started off as a music video production company with me and my friends, right? And I kind of wanted to just create opportunities for all of my homies around me, whether, you're a model, you're a video director, you're an artist, whatever it was. So it started off doing music videos, then we started doing underground shows, then we were also like an agency kind of representing all of our friends, is really creating this space. It's 24 hours because every day belongs to us no matter what you're doing. And it's kind of like I created this community and this network of, all right, cool, like if we all grind together, we can all make it together. Like I was kind of like tired of it being like, one gatekeeper or kind of like one person winning. And I was like, if we're all winning, like, could you just imagine like what that would look like? Um, so with that concept in mind, as I'm creating content, as I'm producing events, I started running into this issue, right? People are telling me, hey, your event is too urban, or, we don't really do hip hop events and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, cool, I get it. A bunch of Black kids in one space can be really intimidating to most. So I was just like, all right, F this. I'm going to figure out how to open my own space. So our culture is appreciated, no matter what that energy looks like, because we need a safe space to create. You know what I mean? So in a nutshell, that's 24 hours. It's 24 OURS. Like I said in my TED talk, because it's a space where we all belong.
Whew. So first, I can't stand the word urban because we know what people are
Yo,
trying to say when they say urban. Yeah. So past that, I want to quote you again. Black and brown creatives deserve safe spaces to grow, thrive, and win.
mm-hmm.
This crowd fund that you were putting together for 24 hours is so well written. And I'd like to touch on just a lot of the points that are in here. Another, there's never been a space for us built by us, so we will create it. And thinking about the opportunities that the blockchain provides, it becomes really, really interesting thinking about these co-working spaces and what that looks like. To me, when I was going through this, I got really excited seeing, you plan on having the recording studio with the art gallery, coffee shop, meeting rooms, podcast studios, live event space, art and fashion studio, editing lab. And it becomes this creative hub that you have access to, and it's so refreshing because I think about the way like WeWorks, they have a certain aesthetic to them, and nothing against it, but it's not necessarily the energy that a lot of black and brown creatives would find inspiring. And that design, that energy, like having a space that's geared towards us becomes fucking ill.
Yep.
Um, one really another like ill piece that I thought about was just the token gated communities and what that looks like in the physical. To our point earlier about not getting too caught up in the metaverse side of it, it's like you still want to be outside. And I love that you quoted a tweet that said it's not about gating, it's about ownership and governance because it provides access and control as opposed to like membership cards.
Hmm.
Flexing your WeWork card isn't as cool, but flexing some fire art from a 24 hours NFT, that becomes ill. That becomes another layer of showing like this club that you're a part of. And so, where are you guys at in the I'll say like the art process, because when I think about that, it's like what is the visual element that's attached with 24 hours? And I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, my fault. You go.
Nah, all good. Yeah. So the crowdfund that's live right now, I put like a redirection link in there. In full transparency, I deployed a second crowdfund to add the NFTs to it. Mirror, the team at Mirror is actually working on it because for some reason, instead of deploying 3 tiers, it deployed 9. So they're working on that fix so I can actually start promoting it heavily. But we have an entire just like graphic pack created for 24 hours. And the first set of NFTs that we're releasing with the crowdfund, there's 3 tiers to it, right? So the first tier gives, people who back the project access to the entire process of making this happen, down to my conversations with the real estate agent. What's the design going to look like? How are we breaking down the memberships? How do we plan on marketing? How do we plan on marketing? What's the entire infrastructure? What's the business strategy? Like these are, blueprints and conversations that people don't talk about, or people pay a lot of money to get insight to, that I'm putting it at a really affordable price point. And if anyone else wants to kind of, take the sauce and figure it out in their ways, they can know what these conversations are like, especially on like the commercial real estate front, on the marketing front, on the business strategy front. So that's the first tier, right? And all of these NFTs, it's a rotating design that says community over everything. I'll send it to you after this so you can check it out.
Oh,
And
I see them on the mirror, and I'm
okay,
glad
cool.
you clarified with the 9 versus the 3 and like what happened there. But please continue.
Yeah. So then the second tier gives you access to the entire blueprint, but also access to all of our events in the studio. When the studio opens, we're going to be doing kind of like, the Web3 Wednesdays that we're doing, but we're going to incorporate live events. Think of like the Soho House and how the Soho House has all these dope events and panels and talks and workshops going on. If you own that NFT, you'll have access to all of that. And then the third tier, is a lifetime membership to 24 hours. And this is, you know, a huge thank you to the people who are backing this from day one. Like, you're a supporter, you believe in the vision, you have access to 24 hours and all of the future locations. So that's what we're doing with the first round of NFTs associated with the crowdfund to kind of get the space kicked off. We've been searching for a space for like the last 3 years, because I wanted to make sure I found the right space. I've opened up the studio in the past and I've gone through a lot of red tape, and I realized that I need a very particular space that gives the creatives in the building the freedom to exist how they are. And I finally found a location, and it's absolutely, it's perfect. It's in Williamsburg. It's just crazy.
Yo, very excited to wait. Is it? Are we? Do I have I been to this space?
No, you have not.
Okay, okay, okay. I
Yeah, yeah,
was like,
yeah.
let
You
me.
have not.
I don't want to give away too much alpha.
Yeah.
See where we're at there. I asked about the art because I feel like that's an important part just in the digital version of it. And I love what y'all are doing with the physical side already with Web3 Wednesday, which we'll be having another one tomorrow. Shout out to Deo, who will be pulling up in glass what they're building over there. I was lucky to be one of the first speakers on the first Web3 Wednesday and heard great reviews from your last. And it's so exciting for me just as a New Yorker to see the space come alive where I'm just someone again I believe that you need to be outside to experience a lot of these things, and what you all are putting together is great for education, great for onboarding, great for networking. And so I'd love to hear like what the impetus was to start Web3 Wednesdays.
Okay, so I remember going to like Art Basel, right? And a lot of my friends are already at Art Basel. There's a bunch of brands doing stuff. And I'm like, I remember I had texted one of my friends, like, yo, download MetaMask. And they were just like, yo, what the fuck is this? Some NFT scam? And I was like, all right, cool. That that's not it's not gonna it's not gonna work. Like doing it over the phone, doing it through the internet is not gonna work. And through 24 hours we've been throwing like events and doing panels just in different spaces. And I'm like, I'm just gonna gather everyone together so we can make this relatable, so they can see people who look like us, kind of talk about what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how they're finding success. And you see at Web3 Wednesdays when like that light bulb goes off in their head when you're just breaking down your blueprint, and they're just like, oh shit, now this makes sense. You know what I mean? And sometimes, like, for some people, they can figure out this information by spending a few hours on Discord or Twitter. But I know my community, I know, you feel me, like what my community in New York needs. And it's kind of like I got to bring them together to really break it down and talk about it and give them the space, their curious minds, the space to ask whatever questions they want. Yeah.
It makes it real to me. And I think that that was one of the illest takeaways I got just when I was shopping with everyone after the panel was they were like, "Oh, okay, like I get it now." I could see it online and it still feels a little scammy. It does, like we're really early in this. So, yeah, just wanted to highlight the ill work that 24 hours is already doing in the I was about to say IRL, but reading through your mirror has made me want to adjust and not say IRL because that's real. Like real life can exist for people digitally in say the physical world as opposed to IRL. But what y'all are building in the physical world,
Facts.
you
And like
know,
you said,
that was
like we are really early, and I was just like, if you have like knowledge and if you have the keys to something, I feel like, my bad, I just got a call. Did you hear what I said?
not
Okay.
lost you after you
I
said
said, yeah, when
knowledge.
you have like the knowledge, it's like I feel like we're obligated to share the codes. And like, I'm going to make sure like, my community doesn't get left behind. And I'm shouting at the top of my lungs, like, yo, this is what's going on over here. It's like, I'm like the type of person to like, run over to the hill, see what's going on over there, turn back around and run back. Like, all right, yo, this is the game plan. This is how we win. I just figured it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. It was crazy. I feel like just from the first time we had met, we had hit it off, and I could tell that we had similar or alignment in like our beliefs and what we wanted for our community and for our people. And I don't think that there's any issue with that. You find you provide for people that you relate to, and I think that our community in particular has constantly been left behind and not included or not been thought of. And there's millions of examples, so I don't want to even dive into the negative side of that. But we've been touching on your entrepreneurial side. I mentioned at the top of this you are an amazing mind, and you're a multifaceted, a multidisciplinary. You directed a video for another incredible musician, Tangina Stone, and it was it's fine. Like I want to show you, give you all the flowers while you're here. How did that come about?
So, all right, I met Tangina Stone maybe around 3 years ago when I was working at Rock Nation, and Rock Nation had just launched their independent distribution arm. And I actually signed her to the company. And we really developed a dope friendship just based on the fact that, like, you know, we're both queer Black women who want to create space for more queer Black women in music, right? And my start in the music industry was through video productions. In high school, I was shooting music videos for all my rapper friends. I used to shoot like $40 music videos, and it got to a point where it's like I really only want to work on films and music videos that really mean something to me. And when Tangina approached me about her single Petty, and her wanting it to be about her relationship with her wife, I absolutely wanted to direct it, to kind of highlight, in a simple and pure way, like what Black queer love in Brooklyn looks like. And we shot that video over the course of 2 days, and the entire crew were all queer women. We shot it in a hair salon that was owned by a Black woman in Queens. So it was a vibe, and I'm super happy about it. She's actually gearing up to release her album Pisces with Warner ADA. And this is her first NFT. I introduced her to the space, so we felt like it was only right that she releases a project that I was a part of. So that's on Zora right now. We have one bid right now, I think for like 0.05 ETH, I think. Yeah, we're just gonna continue to push that. Tangina is new to the space, so she's figuring out how to navigate it. She's always been big on community, but Twitter isn't necessarily her forte, so she's figuring that out.
Yeah, well, it's tough trying to think about what it looks like for artists that aren't the hugest self advocates, because I would argue that pretty much every single, not every, but the majority of artists that are finding success in the space are a certain type of, again, like self advocate for themselves. And not every artist goes about their promotion that way, their marketing that way. And so it'll be interesting to see just how that develops, because it feels like pretty much everyone that's on Web3 has some presence on Twitter, which is funny because it's a Web2 platform. But
Yeah.
I digress from the separation. I also want to note that Tangina's Instagram, with her and her wife, I love their energy. The videos they show, they talk about the ups and the downs, and it just looks like they're enjoying their life, and not like they're trying to just show people they're enjoying their life. They're more just recording them enjoying their life and sharing that. And I think that there's a thin line, but a huge distinction between those two things, where it's like, are you having fun, or are you just showing people that you're having fun? And it's beautiful to see that recognized. And I love the way y'all went about the production. I didn't know that about the whole crew as well. So that's super ill. I'm interested to see. Do we have any of the early $40 videos that
Um,
you can point me to?
Actually, yeah. If you guys want to look up, all right. So this one was $100 music video, right? Swoosh God, blow a case. Look it up. Swoosh God, blow a case. Let me see if I can find
Swoosh
it.
God, blow a case.
Let me see
I'm
if I
about
can
to
find
pull
it
it
on
up right
Twitter.
now. While we're looking for that, that's such a great name. It's
Yep,
gotta be a New York artist. Got like, I feel like
100%.
New York has got so much flavor. Um, Speaking on New York, I saw also just the idea behind an NFT restaurant. It's interesting to me around like token gated, like physical spaces, because Rayo's is the one restaurant that I've said I've always wanted to go to, and I'm not sure if I really want to go there more than I use their sauce all the time, and just the fact that you can't go. And I'm like, the fact that you can, like, you have to know someone to get in makes it really really ill to me. And so when I was thinking about the idea for like an NFT restaurant, like being able to buy into 24 hours and have that lifetime membership, it's wild, because when this develops into the crazy vision that you have, somebody could flip that lifetime membership for a fraction of what they got it. I mean, for way more than what they got it for, and it'll seem like a fucking steal for whoever gets that. Anyway, there wasn't a question loaded in there. I just wanted to say that I got the swoosh god blow a case visual pulled up right here. 2016. Oh no, this is a classic already. I'm seeing it. Yo, see, and you've been working on 24 hours for a minute now.
Yeah.
Um, this is anyway. I'm watching the video and unable to actually share it with Twitter, so I should stop and
No, all
save
good.
it for anyone later. I'm realizing like nobody can see this. I can't actually screen share. No, I'm gonna watch this when we get off. But shout out to you. What's been your favorite video to direct?
um, Good question. Guys, hold on. I just opened my fridge and my bottle of Lambrusco just popped everywhere. This is crazy. Um, my favorite video that I've directed, I think I'm gonna say Swoosh got lowercase, and I'm gonna say because I had just met Swoosh that day, um, and we really didn't have like a game plan on how we're gonna shoot it. I kind of just pulled up with my drone, a few cameras, and one of my partners, and he was just like with it. It's like I saw this school bus like parking lot situation, and I'm like what if we hop the fence and like go into one of these school bus and shoot some scenes? That would be crazy. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. So here we are like hopping the fence and like shooting these scenes and like just going crazy. So it was kind of like this really like impulsive, really fun music video that turned out to be like just really fire. And it ended up like, you know, getting Swoosh into some really cool conversations. Right now, he's on tour with AJ Tracy. Um, so, so yeah, I think that would be like one of my favorite experiences there.
That's wild. AJ Tracy has one of my favorite first videos for an artist. Wait, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. He has one of my favorite videos, point blank. But it was the first video I ever saw of him, and it's the why can I not word this properly? My brain is wilding right now. Anyway, I love his song Pasta. The video for it is fire. I was watching the Blowcase visual as you were talking about it. I love that y'all called it a visual. It's little touches like that to me
You
that
know,
it adds some spice, it adds some flavoring. So we touched on your directing, your entrepreneurship. See, okay, my brain is wild,
it's
Goldie. I'm
all
so sorry.
good.
I'm the last thing I wanted to talk about is you are talking a lot in the physical world about what's going on in the Web3 space. Can you plug some of the other events that you have been doing and just let the world
Hell yeah! So yesterday I did a talk at the Williamsburg Hotel. They have this series called Crypto Mondays, which is a super cool vibe. And they've been just, you know, inviting some really cool people like just across the Web3 space, from like gallery curators to developers. Um, Last night's conversation was really cool. I had like someone in the audience who was like, you know, used to work at like a traditional record label, was kind of like just kind of going off, and it got a little spicy, which is like the first time that has ever happened for me, which is cool to see people get really like passionate about it. So that's one thing there.
wait, what got spicy?
It got spicy. It was just like, you know, like artists need labels kind of conversation. And I'm like, you know, it's like, you know, to each its own. Some artists need labels, some
Oh.
artists don't, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's tough to make blanket statements like that. I think the problem becomes people hear independence and start to have the wrong associations with that. Where to me, no one's independent. Like you don't build anything on your own. You just
exactly.
don't necessarily need certain major label structures where everyone's going to need marketing, promotions, and some of the services, but you can get those in different formats. It does not require the same cookie cutter approach. And, some artists need major labels. They need everything handled for them. And all they want to do is one particular element of their career, which maybe make music or dance or whatever it is. And so it works for them. But I don't think that you can say that every artist needs that to be successful because it's not the case. I just always let people know it's like, yo, like no one's independent. Everybody has somebody else that they're working with to get where it is that they're going. You can only go so far by yourself. So
Exactly.
it's wild to me when people get like so so spicy over something like that because it's also just like there's a million ways to make it and
Yeah,
we're just trying to put the education out there on a particular way even if you don't agree with it, so because it's definitely working for people. Like you can't
exactly.
you can't say that. So yes, continue plugging. Continue
Yeah.
continue telling
So
us about what you.
so that's one, and then obviously my Web3 Wednesdays that I produce with TBA Dow and Basque in Williamsburg at Bass Studios, and it's at Bass Studios, which is this DIY warehouse loft, and we pull together like a whole bunch of creatives, um, put them together in Brooklyn, just creating a space for people to learn out loud and network about everything Web3. And then there's a and then there's another event series out here that I have not been to yet, but they like do like music minting like on site, and it's produced by J Prob and Rocky Snyder, who are like two artists based out in Brooklyn who are navigating the Web3 space and also onboarding and educating a lot of people. So if I'm going to plug three things, I'm going to talk about that.
Hey, shout out J Prob and Rocky. They are Money Trees alum. Their live vote that they do. They did it at OS NYC, which was a space I had never been to. This really crazy gaming cafe. Uh, yeah, that's ill. So, and I also love that. I feel like, New York as a whole is such a big city, but we have this community that's coming about in the Web3 and NFT space. Like seeing you having Glass coming through to Web3 Wednesday and Deo. It's fire because it's actually a community that's being built. And I know people say it all the time. Shoot, I've even said it, but it's like New York could be Atlanta if we work together the way that they do. And for the most part, like that, I won't say that ship has sailed, but we see it ain't happening. At least we can potentially do it in this space. That's really, really exciting. And shout out to you. I feel you're a really great interviewer, really great energy, and always sharing necessary information, which these are the types of pioneers we need early in this space to get more people in, especially our people.
Hell yeah. And listen, I appreciate you something crazy. This is like probably one of my this is my first Twitter Spaces conversation, like one on one like this. So I appreciate it, and this was so dope.
Thank you. Thank you. So before I let you get out of here, I've got two questions I ask everyone on the show. The first question is going to be, what is your seed phrase? And the reason we say seed phrase is because I'm convinced that that is the wrong term to use in the crypto space for your account recovery key. When you're new and you hear seed phrase, it doesn't make you think security. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you think, oh, this is something I have to protect. And if I don't, then I can risk all of my assets being stolen. And so I don't know, it needs it needs a scarier name. Or just call it a password. It's not a password because it's 12. I digress. Somebody else needs to rebrand that. Here on Money Trees, we're repurposing seed phrase to be a saying, quote, slogan, motto, lyric that you live by. It will embody your approach to your career, to your art, to your craft. So Goldie Harris, what is your seed phrase?
Okay, so my seed phrase is, um, in the words of Pusha T, we don't need a globe to show you the world is ours.
I love it. Absolutely. And I catch the wordplay there.
You see
Hours,
it?
24 hours. No, I see what you're doing. That's a great seed. I love it. And my second question is going to be, I will be sending you your custom note, resharing it once we post this episode on all the social channels and we get the art in. People will all see it. I think the picture you send is fire and that this will look like an incredible note. When we do have the note, we're going to list it as a one of one NFT on Zora. What should the price of the note be?
Fuck. I have no idea.
Okay, so I
I have
think
no idea.
no, I feel like I have to start prepping the guests for this particular one because I this has been the last few. They're like, oh, everyone is like, I don't know, how much should we sell it for? To me, it's fun. I let the guests decide because it's your note and we can list it for whatever. It's been given away. So Tangina's manager, Anastasia, she gave hers away for free. And I've had two people, I believe, that had the same price. And it was like 819 ETH, which would require me to make this the most popular Web3 talk show in history, but I'm not opposed to the challenge. So there's a wide range for you to select from.
Let me think about it.
All good.
Let
You
me
can
think
get back
about it.
to
I'll
me on
DM
that.
you.
No,
Yeah, word.
yeah. I'll send you the when Fernando sends the note. I'll send it to you, and then you can tell me the price then.
Okay, vibes.
Hell yeah. Oh, very very last thing. This is completely off topic. Is your brother's name really Platinum?
Yes.
Shout out to your mom.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out.
Shout
Shout
out to your
out.
mom.
Shout out to my mom. She's cool as hell.
Yo, Goldie, thank you for coming through. I will not be at this Web3 Wednesday, but I will not be missing them when I am in New York. I am in Florida right now. It is the first Wednesday of each month. 24 hours, Basque, TBA. It is probably my favorite IRL event. No shade to any of the other ones, they've all been great, but that just had the best display of education, community vibes, and I'm very, very excited to see that grow. I'm excited to see you grow in all of the fireplaces that you are working with the UM and with 24 hours, to seeing how the co-working space comes about. This has been really, really ill and insightful getting to hear from you. And I can't wait for other people to learn more about what you're building.
Oh yeah, Khufu. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and the space to talk about this. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm super grateful. Thank you.
Yo, you're fire. We will be talking more soon. And yeah, that's all I got. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and that your fridge is not in bad shape.
Thank you. All right. Peace out,
All right.
everybody.
Peace, peace, peace.